Many of your allies who want you to win in November say your current strategy isn't working, that you need to stop with the personal attacks on Kamala Harris and deliver a more disciplined message. Do you agree?
As far as the personal attacks, her because of what she's done to the country, I'm very angry at her that she'd weaponized the justice system against me and other people. Very angry at her. I think I'm entitled to personal attacks. I don't have a lot of respect for her. I don't have a lot of respect for her intelligence, and I think she'll be a terrible president. And I think it's very important that we win. And whether the personal attacks are good, bad, I mean, she certainly attacks me personally. She actually called me weird. He's weird. It was just a soundbite.
Donald Trump thinks he's entitled to personal attacks on Vice President Harris because he doesn't respect her or her intelligence. He does have the right to attack her all he wants. He just thinks he's entitled to do it without any consequence, which is what he's been used to his entire life.
With all of the abuse we've taken from the fake news media, all of this horrific abuse we take, and all I want to do is make the country great. All I want to do is have strong borders and good education. We want to have choice for education. So important. So many different things. You would think it would be the other way. We rebuilt the military. We did so many great things. But that's the way it's been for Republicans, and I guess more so for me than anybody in history, and that's okay, because we're leading in the polls. For the most part, we're leading in the polls. We were leading Biden by a lot. We're leading now, but I think when she's exposed, I think we're going to beat her by a lot more than we would have beaten Biden by, because he had a little group of people that have been voting for him for a long time. She doesn't have that. People don't know who she is.
Again, he wants to lob nasty attacks on his enemies that aren't based in reality. Not a bit of truth or usefulness, but can't stop complaining when he gets some pushback.
Well, I expect her to be rather specific and focus on the issues that matter to the American people. I mean, we don't get that from Donald Trump, like ever. I mean, he is focused on name-calling, saying things that people don't understand. His speech is now, sometimes slurred, and he's very hard to follow. And the amount of excitement that's behind the Harris-Walz campaign is just off the charts. Gabby and I were in Glendale just on Friday and got to experience that. And there's a tremendous amount of energy. But I listened very closely to what she had to say. And Kamala Harris is about taking this country forward. I think people are starting to see that Donald Trump is a relic of the past that just wants to drag us backwards.
This devastating leg of Trump's campaign since Harris entered the race as the nominee has quickly made people realize how tired and played out his strategy of anger, abuse, name-calling, and blatant lying really is. There's only so much elementary school name-calling that people can handle until they finally want someone to be an adult, that can focus on the job rather than just himself.
Initially, when Joe Biden Democratic nominee, Trump was playing on his turf, reaching out to his voters, and that's why you saw 2, 3, maybe even a 4-point advantage for Trump. These were people who were disappointed, disengaged with the Democratic Party. Now it's exactly the opposite. These are ex-Republicans, ex-conservatives who are looking at Trump and his personality, the whole Trump Vance ticket, and they're saying, this is not what I want. I want to be clear about this. The two issues that matter most are immigration and inflation. And on those issues, Donald Trump still has the advantage over Harris. But on these personality traits, Harris has a tremendous advantage over Trump. And there are people who had voted for Trump in 2020 that will not vote for him again because they're tired of his rude and abusive behavior. He is literally losing this election. And I'm starting to wonder, does he want to lose? Is this something that's going on inside his head simply because he doesn't want to be president for 4 more years? Because no sane person would campaign the way Donald Trump is campaigning.
Frank Luntz may not realize it, but he hit the nail on the head. No sane person would campaign like this. Donald Trump is not a sane person that has had to ever develop any social skills that recognize the autonomy of other people to focus on their own damn lives. He thinks people are here to either support his life or they're out to get him. So since he's faced with a growing number of people that aren't kissing his ass while he demeans them, he has no idea how to handle it, even though everyone keeps telling him. So he sends out his best, most loyal ass kissers to tell others how great he is, without him even trying to live up to the praise.
The one thing that I think the Marines really do We have the best motto. I have a favorite motto of the U.S. military, and of course I'm biased, but Semper Fidelis, always faithful, right? You hear Marines say it all the time, Semper Fi. And to me, what it means is that Marines are always faithful to our country and to our brothers and sisters in arms, but it also has another meaning, which is that we always have to be faithful to all of the members of our military who served this country and did so honorably. I really do think that Donald Trump exemplifies that motto, because his government and under his leadership, the United States was always faithful to the veterans of this country, and that's something for us to be proud of. His record and his vision is a vision of always being faithful to those who put on the uniform.
JD Vance was told to go out and tell a bunch of Marines that Donald effing Trump embodies always faithful. You can imagine some of the responses to this incredibly comical notion that Marines should believe that this guy is the personification of faithful, called our military suckers and losers, insulted Gold Star families, said of POW John McCain that he prefers those who, quote, didn't get captured, didn't want disabled amputee vets to be at his events because it makes him look bad. But sure, JD Vance, whatever you say. JD Vance desecrated Marines' motto, Semper Fidelis, by using it to describe a man who dodged draft to serve his country, cheated on his 3 wives, slept with a porn star while his wife was pregnant with his son, lied to the American people, and continues to put down America. Sickness. A Marine veteran who pens the coveted oath of the Marine Corps to a convicted felon, rapist, and serial adulterer. Vance is a disgrace to all Marines. It's probably best to leave the Trump-pleasing hyperbole alone, considering the guy has lived most of his life in the public eye, where he made sure to flaunt just how disloyal and self-serving he is.
You know what's interesting, Donald, is you take these women, these 2 particular women in your life, and you help them become very well known. And then when they want to act on that appeal, you seem to get upset about it.
I create stars. I love creating stars. And to a certain extent, I've done that with Ivana. To a certain extent, I've done that with Marla, and I like that.
Let me lead you from your solitude.
I mean, I've really given a lot of women great opportunity. Unfortunately, after they're a star, the fun is over for me. It's like a creation process. It's almost like creating a building. It's pretty sad.
Man, the 80s and 90s were a weird time that Trump really enjoyed being celebrated for being a complete asshole, whose only appeal was that he's a complete asshole. I guess MAGA supporters are still on that train no matter what decade it is. He's so self-absorbed, he chose James David Vance as his running mate because maybe he kissed his ass the best and he figured that he wouldn't outshine him on the campaign trail. Again, decisions made to please one person, himself.
You made a comment in a speech at the Claremont Institute in 2021. You said,
Oh, here we go.
You said that big corporations say abortion bans are bad for business because, quote, corporations are so desperate for cheap labor that they don't want people to parent children. Do you stand by that sentiment? And if so, what evidence do you have to support that claim?
Well, sometimes the evidence to support it is what people actually say. And look, I really do believe that we have to be more pro-family in this country.
I've noticed that Vance disparages questions or mentions his family in order to buy time to pause and think before dodging those questions.
I mean, let me give you personal experience. So my lovely wife is here. There's Usha. Sorry to embarrass you, honey. But isn't she beautiful, guys? You see her at the RNC convention. She did such a good job. But look, my wife is a brilliant litigator. She's a brilliant lawyer. We met in law school, and she's had an incredible career. But I think both of us would say, and I feel comfortable speaking for my wife here, that very often corporate America is not especially friendly to parents with young children, especially young moms with young children. And I think that we have to promote a culture of pro-family thinking and pro-family policy in this country where we see children as natural, as blessings and as resources and not as curses, which is how I think way too many companies and frankly way too many of our leaders in Washington think about our young children.
He keeps trying this tactic of saying corporations are hindering the growth and development of families, as if he's got some kind of plan or general opposition to companies taking advantage of their workforce for as much profit as possible. The venture capitalist is acting like the Trump-Vance ticket isn't squarely behind multi-million-dollar companies that are anti-union and anti-worker rights, who relied on old Donald Trump to help them destroy people's livelihoods and the families in their process. Because when he's in the friendly confines of conservative media, women and their families aren't normal things that Americans care about somehow.
Senator, one of my dear friends tonight said to me, well, all these suburban women, all they care about is abortion, and they don't understand that decision is with the states now. It's not banned nationally, even if some people want it to be banned nationally. It's with the states. What do you say to suburban women out there who are marinating in this propaganda?
Well, first of all, I don't buy that, Laura. I think most suburban women care about the normal things that most Americans care about.